Hello, my name is Matthew Nguyen. I work in the FunCal lab with my mentor, Dr. Tracy Greer, and my poster is about the impact of multilingualism on hot and cold cognitive functioning. So basically, there has been ongoing debate about the effects of speaking multiple languages on cognition. However, most of this research currently has only utilized cold cognitive tasks and not hot cognitive tasks. Cold cognition is basically non-effective or emotionally neutral cognition. Examples of that are arithmetic, puzzle solving, or inhibitory control. While hot cognitive processes or hot cognition is effective, it's emotionally charged cognition. Examples of that are risk taking through gambling, possibly, and emotion recognition, and possibly moral judgment. So we hope to compare differences on these tasks, on these hot and cold cognitive tasks between multilingual speakers and monolingual speakers. In addition, we'd like to evaluate symptoms of depression and quality of life in our participants, just because we know that in some depressed individuals, impaired cognition is a symptom, which in turn affects their quality of life. So at UTA, we've already started data collection. We've run about 50 people, and we're expecting to hit about 120 participants at the end of our data collection. Our study is divided into two sessions, where the first session is online, and we ask participants to answer questions on their demographics and language measures. These two right here, like sales news, as it's a vocabulary test that measures English proficiency. We want to make sure that all participants are proficient in English, just so that the results in session 2 of the study is not explained by their English abilities or their English proficiency or lack thereof. And then if you're self-rated as a bilingual trilingual, then we ask you to take the LEAP Q, which has you answer questions on your experience and history in your second and or third language. And then after that, we have the participants um, take a depressive symptoms measure, PHQ-9, and a quality of life enjoyment questionnaire, QLASQ. If you're eligible through the Lextail, or excuse me, through the Lextail, if you're eligible, then we'll notify you, we'll notify the participant to come on to session 2, which will take about an hour. And they're asked to do 5 cognitive tasks, 3 hot cognitive tasks, and 2 cold cognitive tasks. And we chose these because they're easy to administer. And they also measure different aspects of these broad cognitive domains. Like, for example, on hot cognition, they, this one right here, the emotion bias test, it measures facial emotion perception. And then this one right here, Cambridge scaling task, measures risk-taking behaviors. And so we anticipate that multilingual speakers will perform better than their monolingual counterparts due to their innate ability to switch between multiple languages while speaking. Um, this might lead to better inhibitory control and cognitive flexibility, and also emotion regulation. Because imagine you're a bilingual speaker, you might use your first language for more emotionally intense situations, and then use your second language, maybe one you're less fluent in, to downregulate those emotions. And then we predict that depression will be associated with poor cognitive performance and reduced quality of life in both groups. And then we could take this in the future. Where we'd like to take this is maybe utilize more hot cognitive tasks, just because we're doing this because there isn't enough research on hot cognitive tasks in general. So we want to maybe incorporate more, like maybe like a moral judgment task, and then maybe possibly utilize tasks in other languages, because these are all in English, and that might impede some of our participants. And this research will allow us to understand more about hot cognition, and then also the possible interplay between these two processes in multilingual speakers and in monolingual speakers. These are processes that we use often. We are trying to recognize emotions. That's hot cognition. And then often we're using language because that shapes our communication and who we are as people. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Jeffrey Witzel, Dr. Naoko Witzel, and Dr. Barbara Hasakian, and the Motorcom developers for their support and guidance. Thank you very much for listening to me.